Well, hello. It's been a while. Did you miss me? If you did, who's there to miss anybody? You're already all this. How could it be otherwise? There's nothing to miss. It's all right here. Anyway, it has been a while. I thought I'd try something a little bit different. Most of my talks tend to be at least 25 minutes long. And I thought, well, maybe I should just practice short talks, observations of things that come to mind I happen to notice. I may or may not post this right away. I want to see how this unfolds. So the first observation I really want to talk about, and again, hopefully it won't be too long, is so have you ever noticed when you first wake up how you are not surprised by the circumstances you find yourself in? By that I mean, we take a lot of things for granted. The first thing might be you start to notice the bed you're in. It's familiar, it's comfortable. And if you're married or with somebody, you might recognize that there's a partner sleeping next to you. Or maybe you have pets and they're on the bed too. But you don't wake up usually suddenly wondering, oh, where am I? Now, that's happened to me on occasion, usually not when I'm home. Maybe when you wake up in a strange place, you're in a hotel somewhere or somebody's strange house, and you forget that you're not at home. So immediately, the story of you starts creating itself. The story of your life starts creating itself without you even noticing how it is doing so at each moment. Now you may get out of bed. You are not surprised when you swing your legs out of bed that they drop to the floor. Your legs suddenly don't fall to the ceiling. It's assumed that that is what's going to happen. That's also part of the conditioning, part of the story of this, the story of you. Then you notice, let's say you need to go use the bathroom. You wander off to the bathroom. You don't even think about the objects in the room. Have you noticed that if you ever woke up in the middle of the night and used the bathroom and it's dark, you don't turn on any lights, you intuitively know where everything is, right? You just assume that the furniture is going to be where it was previously, hasn't been rearranged. But how do you know that? That's part of the story of your life. It's part of the conditioning of this unit to have a kinesthetic sense of where it is in space and time at any given moment in perceived time. We go through our days with these assumptions. The assumptions and Well, the assumptions get more complex as we go through our day because now the story continues to build as you start interacting with others and you start interacting with your work or with friends or with neighbors or with family. Everybody plays their part. And this is what's interesting is you play the part really, really well. You don't even have to think about playing the part. You just automatically assume the part of you. It happens to all of us. So the thing to recognize, however, is to really look, well, who's playing the part? What's observing the part being played? What's observing the dialogue? What's observing the assumptions that are being made about the interactions that you're having? It's not like you have amnesia and suddenly wake up next to somebody and say, oh no, who are you? What are you doing here? Where am I? That'd be awfully strange, wouldn't it? The conditioning is very strong. And spiritual awakening, spiritual development has nothing to do with getting rid of that conditioning so that every moment is as if you had amnesia about what just took place previously, although it really wouldn't be a bad thing if you did. Now, of course, that might make your life a little bit more difficult, especially when you interact with your family. But if you can become aware, if you could investigate that which is observing the unfolding of the play, then there's a recognition that what you are is more than the character that is being played. What you are is much greater than the character that's being played. And if you really start to investigate it from the moment you wake up, you might even notice when the downloading of the character begins. It's a very interesting process to kind of see the programming itself unfolding, the conditioning as programming unfolding. As you perhaps lay in bed, moving from sleep to wakefulness, suddenly all the elements of the character, the background of the character, the personality of the character, the friends, family, relatives, animals that exist in the character's life, all this comes down. All this gets downloaded into this thing. And in fact, in some respect, you might say it's already inherent in this thing. And notice how it's so easy to move through the day, through your life, not being aware that all this is just a download of your conditioning, your karma. And we move through our lives completely believing the story of this character. And it gets reinforced when we interact with others who perhaps don't know any better. They're suddenly not going to look at you and say, hey, who are you? Why are you here? Hmm. Unless you actually start acting more like your true nature and not the character, then you might have somebody. Well, what happened to you? What happened to Vincent? Where did he go? An honest reply might be, he was never here. you only you only agreed to the story that the character existed. What about your character? Have you recognized that your character doesn't really exist either? Try that on your family members. Yeah, you won't get very far. I know I haven't. So I promised I would not make this very long. And I'm going to try to continue this. I'd like to do this every day, just come up with some piece of observation. And if I can keep this under 10 minutes each one, uh, then I think I've been successful in doing what I set out to do with these. So I just ask, pay attention. Pay attention to that moment when you wake up. Really pay attention to what's happening, the assumptions that you make, how the conditioned patterns might almost automatically and immediately present themselves on the moment of awakening, how you wake up as the character. Pay attention. Pay attention. Okay? Till the next one.